At this point, we could take what we've learned using Firefox and Internet Explorer and the ways that they handle XML differently, and we could sit down and write our own cross-browser library for handling XML code. Now, thankfully, we don't need to do that because someone else already has. And that library is known as the Sarissa library, and that's what we're going to cover in this section. So the Sarissa library is a free open source library, and it's used for handling XML data. And it was written by a guy named Emmanuel Batsis, and it's available for download from the sarissa.sourceforge.net website. The Sarissa library essentially provides a cross-browser way of working with XML, processing it, loading it, serializing it, transforming it using XSLT, a whole bunch of cross-browser support for common XML functions. And the API that it uses basically takes the best of both browsers, Firefox and IE, and creates one unified API for working with the XML content. Now, to use the Sarissa library in your projects, essentially all you need to do is include the sarissa.js file in the document where you want to use the functions. And we'll take a look at a few examples of that in a moment. Creating a document using the Sarissa library is accomplished by calling the getDom document method with the namespace and root tag that you want to use. And this code here works cross-browser. So unlike Firefox or IE, you don't have to do any browser detection or any special code. All you need to do is call the getDom document method. So looking at the previous example that we've used in both the Firefox and IE sections, what we've done here is change the way we instantiate the XML document to just call the Sarissa library's getDom document method. And we're passing in 2 empty strings here. And then it's just a matter of using the standard DOM functions to create the document content. So what Sarissa does is it creates an XML document that's native to the browser that you're in. But the way that it creates the document is cross-browser. And the reason why this works well is because recall that the DOM API for manipulating XML content once you have a document is the same in both browsers. So once we have the document instantiated using this line, the rest of the code is cross-browser just by its very nature. Sarissa also provides support for loading an XML document. And in fact, the asynchronous version for loading a document is the same as it is in Internet Explorer. So if we look at the example here, you can see that the example for loading an XML document is slightly different because of the way you get the document. So here we're calling the getDom document function on the Sarissa library. And from that point forward, it's pretty much the same in IE and Firefox. You set the async property to false, and you just load the XML you want to load. For the asynchronous case, the Sarissa library emulates the Internet Explorer method inside of Firefox for you. So here we have our load XML document async function. And here we're instantiating the document by using the Sarissa library's version. And we set the async property to true. Now, Sarissa implements the onReadyState change and ReadyState properties in Firefox, so you can write the same code in IE and Firefox, and it will just work cross-browser. The Sarissa library also implements the serializer and parser objects that we saw in the earlier Firefox example, only these versions are cross-browser, and you can call the code the same way that you would in Firefox. So if we look at our parse XML document example from earlier, you can see that the example pretty much looks exactly the way it would in Firefox, only now, once you've included the Sarissa library, this code also works in Internet Explorer. Okay, we have enough now to see if we can go back and rewrite our earlier Firefox and Internet Explorer examples using the Sarissa library and test them in a cross-browser environment.